Hello, I'm just gonna demonstrate real briefly the proper grip sizing for tennis, and also the different grips that we use to strike the ball in tennis. So first of all, let's talk about the grip size. In grip size, you should have, there should be a gap where your pinky finger fits in between your middle finger and your ring finger and the base of your thumb. So this would be the right grip size for me. Okay, this is a 4 3/8, and I have 2 over grips on the racket. That's the way I like it. I like it a little more rounder, and as you can see, I got that's the gap right there in between my middle and ring finger and the base of my thumb. So this is the right size for the grip. Somebody with the smaller hands, their gap would be like this, and somebody with bigger hands would be, you almost hardly be able to see a gap. So you never want these fingers here touching the base of your thumb. So basically, you want that nice space right there, and that's the right size for the grip. I'm demonstrating here an Eastern forehand grip. Like I mentioned in my book, What Tennis Pros Don't Teach, there is a range. This would be a conservative Eastern, and this would be an extreme Eastern, where the knuckle bone of my index finger goes from this edge right here to this one for conservative here, and extreme to this other one. So this is conservative Eastern, it is extreme Eastern. So there is a range. It's not like you have to have an exact location for the Eastern grip. There's a little bit of a range. I feel like Federer is more towards the extreme, kind of like that. You know, Sampras was a little bit more conservative. So that's your Eastern forehand grip. For the semi-Western, you go to the next plane over here, and then this is your semi-Western. The semi-Western, conservative, and the extreme Eastern grip are almost the same. So the semi-Western conservative is right here, and the extreme is over here. So where the bone goes from this bevel here to this other one for conservative. So here you go. And then for the Western, you go to the next plane. So this would be a conservative Western, and this would be an extreme Western. As you can see, this is a very awkward grip. I mean, I personally don't care for it. There's some players out there that can hit forehands with this grip. To me, it would be like next to impossible to do that. And then the other grip I'd like to demonstrate is the Continental grip. For the Continental grip, one of the keys to obtaining the right grip is you want your forearm to be in line with the central axis of the racket, like that, keeping the racket perpendicular to the ground, the racket face. And then you also have, you're going to use this diagonal over here, this plane over here, and you have an extreme Continental versus a conservative Continental. And both of them can be considered to be continentals. That's why we see differences or idiosyncrasies in how a player hits forehand volleys with a continental grip. I mean, I kind of like somewhere in the middle of the road, kind of continental. Some players are more like this, you know, that's pretty extreme continental. And some of the players hit their forehand volleys. It almost looks like an Eastern forehand grip, which is really a conservative forehand grip when they're hitting that forehand volley. But there you have it. These are the grips for tennis: Eastern, semi-Western, Western grip, and the Continental grip. Okay, they're all grips that we all need to know and understand to become better tennis players. On the top plane of the grip, and you got your conservative, which is on the right edge of the grip, and your extreme Eastern backhand grip, which is on the left side of the grip, and that's all an Eastern one-handed backhand. Okay, this is kind of like the way Federer hits it. We move now to the semi-Western one-handed backhand. So you go to the diagonal bevel on the left side of the grip, and you got your conservative semi-Western one-handed, which looks like this. Here's my knuckle bone right along this edge, and then you got your extreme one-handed semi-Western, which goes a little further, more like that. You got players like Wawrinka, who are really good at hitting backhands this way, and these grips are probably a little more conducive to handling higher bouncing balls. There you have it. There isn't such a thing. I mean, I don't see any players trying to hit one-handed backhand with a Western backhand grip, which would be way past over here, so we're not even going to bother with that. We only have semi-Western one-handed backhand grip and Eastern one-handed backhand grip. Here's the Eastern, and as you can see, it's pretty traditional looking. And here is your semi-Western, which is a little more extreme looking, but nevertheless a very effective, very beautiful stroke. For the one-handed backhand slice, we're going to use a Continental grip, and that's to the right of the grip, the diagonal bevel. You got your straight Continental grip, you got your conservative and your extreme. I mean, this is the extreme, this is the conservative, and you just go continental here, and this is what it looks like. See, sometimes I see some juniors trying to hit the one-handed backhand with this grip, which is the Eastern one-handed backhand grip. And it looks kind of awkward, you know. It's kind of like that. It makes the players go too circularly like that. So we want the shot to be more linear, like this. That way, so the continental grip works a lot better. For the two-handed backhand, the player needs to go from his Eastern or semi-Western or Western forehand grip to the continental grip on the right hand, and then for the most part, players were going to have an Eastern forehand grip on the left hand. So this is what we're seeing a lot of players go with for the two-handed backhand grip. Some players utilize an Eastern one-handed backhand grip along with an Eastern forehand grip on the left hand, and then that moves the point of impact or the zone of impact a little further forward of the body. So this is also a very effective way to hit a two-handed backhand. Every now and then there's some players out there that are using an Eastern forehand grip on the right hand and an Eastern forehand grip on the left hand, and they hit it kind of like this. It looks like they're catching it a little late. I see some players out there that do this, and it's a very effective way to also hit a backhand. It's got the advantage that you don't have to switch the grip very much at all if you're going to do an Eastern forehand grip or a semi-Western forehand. So it's definitely an advantage right here. And some players that do that, they use the same grip for the Eastern forehand volley and then the two-handed backhand volley. They use the Eastern forehand grip on the right hand, and the Eastern forehand grip on the left hand. And they hit the backhand volley like this, two-handed and one-handed. So that's probably not a bad technique. I personally don't care too much for it, but I've seen some really good players hit like that. The right grip for the volleys is going to be also the continental grip. You want either an extreme or a conservative continental grip for volleys. Here's a conservative continental forehand volley, and here's an extreme continental forehand volley. The point of impact with the conservative continental in the forehand is further forward than it would be with the extreme continental is further back. With the extreme continental, but they both work well. The extreme continental is probably more effective in handling the low volleys, and the conservative Eastern forehand continental works better for the higher volleys. This is a conservative backhand volley, better for low volleys, and then this is an extreme backhand continental backhand volley, and it's better for high volleys. So for the serving, you want extreme to conservative gripping for serving, and that way you get a good pronation. But definitely continental, sometimes extreme continental, even past continental a little bit works good for the serving. It forces your upper body to get a little more rotation as you're going through the motion.